The game of political chess in Nigeria has just reached a level of intensity that no one could have predicted, and former Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-RUFAI is currently finding out the hard way that when the system decides to squeeze you, there is absolutely no room to breathe. The headline you saw is not an exaggeration. It is the absolute reality of what is happening right now in Abuja. Just when El-RUFAI thought he had survived the storm and was finally going home to sleep in his own bed after spending 2 agonizing nights in the cold custody of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, he was immediately intercepted and arrested again, this time by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses Commission. It is a scenario straight out of an action movie, and it shows a highly coordinated effort by the authorities to keep the former powerful governor behind bars. It all started on Monday morning, February 16, 2026. After a lot of back and forth, El-RUFAI finally honored an invitation from the EFCC and walked into their headquarters in Abuja. He was there to answer some very heavy questions regarding the massive 432 billion naira fraud and money laundering allegations that occurred during his 8-year tenure as the governor of Kaduna State. Remember, this probe didn't just fall from the sky. It was recommended by an ad hoc committee set up by the Kaduna State House of Assembly back in 2024. The lawmakers accused his administration of diverting public funds, leaving behind a crushing debt of $587 million and 85 billion naira, along with over 100 contractual liabilities. The current governor, Uba Sani, has openly complained that this huge debt burden is eating deep into the state's monthly allocation, making it difficult to even govern. So, the EFCC had a lot of documents to show him. They grilled him all day on Monday, and when night fell, he was not allowed to go home. He slept in their custody on Monday night. On Tuesday, the interrogation continued, and he spent a second night in the facility. By Wednesday evening, around 8 p.m., it seemed his legal team had finally pulled off a miracle. They secured an administrative bail for him. You can imagine the relief he must have felt walking toward the exit, thinking the worst of the interrogation was over. But the worst was just beginning. As soon as he stepped out, armed operatives were already waiting for him at the premises of the EFCC. They did not even give him a chance to get into his car and breathe fresh air. According to eyewitnesses, he was immediately swooped upon and taken away. Initially, there was massive confusion in the media. Some reports claimed it was the Department of State Services that took him, while others whispered that it was the ICPC. The tension was thick, and nobody knew where the former governor had been taken. However, late on Wednesday night, the confusion was cleared when the spokesperson for the ICPC, John Ode, released an official statement. He confirmed that Nasir El-RUFAI was indeed in their custody as of the close of work on Wednesday. The statement was very brief and stated that he is being held in connection with ongoing investigations. They did not specify the exact nature of these investigations, but the message was clear. El-RUFAI had literally been handed over from one anti-graft agency to another. He simply changed detention centers. To understand why multiple agencies are suddenly treating him like the ultimate prize, we have to rewind to the drama that happened just last week, because that is where he may have made a fatal mistake. After returning to the country from a trip to Cairo, Egypt last Thursday, security operatives attempted to arrest him right there at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja. There was a brief, heated confrontation between his entourage and the security men, and his international passport was confiscated before he was allowed to leave. But instead of keeping a low profile and letting his lawyers handle it, El-RUFAI did what he always does. He went on the offensive. On Friday, he appeared on live television during an interview on Arise TV's primetime program and made a staggering claim. He confidently announced that the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, was the one who personally ordered his attempted abduction at the airport. How did he know? El-RUFAI claimed that someone had wiretapped the NSA's phone and he had personally listened to the intercepted communication where Ribadu was giving the instructions. Now, pause and think about the gravity of that statement.
a former governor, went on national television and admitted to having access to the intercepted private phone calls of the National Security Advisor of the country. In any nation in the world, that is a massive national security breach. It was this singular television interview that triggered the wrath of the secret police. By Monday, the Department of State Services filed a 3-count criminal charge against him at the Federal High Court in Abuja. The charges are severe. They are accusing him of cybercrimes, specifically the unlawful interception of communications, which violates the Cybercrimes Amendment Act of 2024. The DSS prosecutors allege that by admitting on live TV that he intercepted the NSA's calls and failing to report the individuals who actually did the wiretapping, El-Rufai compromised public safety and national security. If you are finding this breakdown of the incredible political drama fascinating and you appreciate how we connect the dots without any sugarcoating, please do me a quick favor and smash that like button right now. It helps this video reach more people who need to understand the real story behind the headlines. And if you are watching and haven't joined our community yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you will be the absolute first to know the moment he is either taken to court or moved to yet another agency. The situation El-Rufai finds himself right now is what political analysts call a total lockdown. He is fighting a war on 3 fronts against the most powerful institutions in the country. First, he has the EFCC waiting for him to return on bail to answer for the 432 billion naira financial mess in Kaduna. Second, he is currently locked up in an ICPC cell facing a fresh set of undisclosed corruption investigations. And third, he has a pending arraignment in a federal high court where the DSS is ready to prosecute him for cybercrimes and threatening national security. This is a man who just a few years ago was considered one of the untouchable giants of Nigerian politics. He was a kingmaker, a man whose voice made the entire political establishment shake. Today, his lawyers are running from pillar to post, writing letters complaining about how his fundamental human rights and freedom of movement are being abused, while the government agencies seem to be coordinating perfectly to ensure he does not see the outside world for a very long time. There is a profound lesson here about the transient nature of power. Many Nigerians are watching this unfold with a sense of disbelief because nobody ever imagined that El-Rufai would be tossed around like this. But it shows that when the federal machinery decides that you have crossed the line, your past influence means absolutely nothing. The seizure of his international passport means he cannot flee, and the sequential arrests mean he cannot strategize comfortably. His spokesperson, Muyiwa Adekeye, had earlier praised the EFCC for their professionalism during the Monday interrogation, hoping perhaps that playing nice would secure his release. But the ambush by the ICPC proves that the script has already been written and playing nice is not going to stop the process. As we look ahead to the coming days, the big question is whether the ICPC will secure a court order to detain him for an extended period or if they will eventually grant him bail only for the DSS to be waiting at the gate to pick him up for the cybercrimes charges. It is a brutal game of musical chairs, and the music has stopped for the former governor. The entire country, especially the people of Kaduna State, who are demanding accountability for the staggering deaths left behind, will be watching closely to see if this ends in a proper trial and conviction, or if it is just a political pressure campaign to silence a vocal opposition figure ahead of the 2027 elections. We will remain on high alert, monitoring the ICPC headquarters and the Federal High Court to bring you the very latest developments as this incredible story continues to unfold.